All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Burma Nation. I got this new fancy headset. My kids think that I'm like a football coach when this thing arrived the other day. Uh, it's been kind of weird. So hopefully this makes me sound a little bit more clear in your guys' videos. We'll find out. If it doesn't, just shoot me a message, let me know, and I'll stop using it. So here we are. We're on day 2 of the division properties of exponents. We're going to start getting into some more in-depth stuff here. So pause as you need. Make sure you write stuff down. Submit pictures onto Schoology if you need help with that. There's a frequently asked questions thing on Schoology for you. Otherwise, shoot me a line and I'll help you out here. So here's how we roll with things. On the land of division, like we talked about on the last lesson, we are just using the subtraction property. Now, sometimes when we subtract the 3 to the 4th divided by 3 to the 4th, that means 3 to the 4 minus 4. That equals 3 to the 0 power. Now, there's a very special rule that happens when we talk about something to the 0 power. Now, we know from years and years and years and years, if I take 3 to the 4th divided by 3 to the 4th, or 4 divided by 4, or 12 divided by 12, that the answer is equal to 1. So this answer equals to 1. Every single time we have something to the 0 power, that means that the answer is equal to 1. So this is one of the all-time favorites for you guys, because when you say something to the 0 power, you know that you're just going to trade that piece out for a 1. So no matter if it's a 14, if it's a fraction to the 0 power, or if you got letters to the 0 power, the answer is 100% of the time always 1. So let's see what that looks like. It looks like this, like absolute beautifulness. Everything in here is to the 0 power, so the answer is 1. Now that is your most favorite kind of problem. Now they do get a little bit more complicated, as we are about to show you here. Now in this specific problem, we have just a tiny piece here that's to the 0 power. So just that one is 1. So now we have an x to the 5th over an x to the 3rd, and then we have a times 1 up top. Now you guys learned a long time ago, way back in like 3rd or 4th grade, when you multiply by 1, then it just stays the same value. So realistically, I kind of mentally X that out, because anything to the 0 power is 1, and times 1 doesn't change the value of things. So we have an x to the 5th divided by an x to the 3rd. So this is like yesterday. We're going to subtract 5 minus 3 to get an x to the 2nd power. If I multiply by 1, I'm still at an x to the 2nd power. So I'm done with that one. On our next one, we have a c to the 0 power. That bad boy right there equals to a 1. So I'm just going to mentally get rid of it. And now I'm just simplifying b to the 5th over b to the 2nd, which means I have a b to the 3rd up here. D to the 9th over D to the 4th. Subtraction makes a D to the 5th. Now I have all of those things canceled out, so it's just like a little 1 left over. Realistically, I don't need to have that. All I need to have is B to the 2nd times D to the 5th. Now I showed you that way of writing it because we're about to have to deal with that. So here's how it rolls. Now you still will use the same rules as before. A 3 minus 7, c to the 3 minus 7, makes a c to the negative 4th. Now we can't leave things with negative exponents in, so we have a new rule to write down. That new rule is anytime we have an exponent that is a 0 or negative exponent, we have to change where it's at. So here's the algebraic way of showing it to you. So if I have a negative n on the top, to make it positive, it has to go to the bottom of a fraction. If I have a negative n on the bottom, it has to move to the top to become positive. So the goal here is that we understand that in order for us to get rid of negative exponents, we take it and we bring it to the bottom. If it's already on the bottom, we take it and we bring it to the top. So negative exponents become positive as soon as they cross the fraction bar line or the division line. So that's what we're going to do. And only the piece that is negative moves. So here's our example. Only the x to the negative second is negative, so only that piece has to move to the bottom. So that makes us have a y to the fourth on top, and now on the bottom we have that x to the second, and this is a negative, so that one moves to the top too, and so we have a z to the third on top. So we just moved the two things that were negative to the opposite side of the fraction bar, and then they become positive. So again, if you need to pause and re-listen to that, go back, go ahead, do it. I'm happy with it. Here's another example. Only the pieces that have the negative exponent, not the coefficient, the multiplier in front. That doesn't move, that stays where it is. Only the pieces that have a negative exponent move. So in my mind, I have a negative 5/8. So I have a top and a bottom. These numbers stay where they are. The r to the negative 3 came to the bottom. The u to the negative 5 came to the top and become positive. So r to the third comes to the bottom, it's positive. T to the fourth was already positive, so it stays. And then the u to the negative fifth, that was negative, so it had to move too. So one simple way to remember all of this. What we're looking for you guys to do is if you see something negative, it moves. If it's positive, it stays. Just like friendships, just like things in your life, if there's something negative, you change it, you move it, you make it positive. If there's something that's positive, you want to keep it around, so it just stays where it is. Now, the very last step is if we have items that are already different like this one, we are done with the problem, but we need to check to make sure. If there is something that matches, they have the same letter, we're going to simplify like we did earlier. If the numbers, the coefficients in front are simplifiable, like if this was a 4/8, we would simplify just the fraction part of it. So here's two more examples, and then we will be done for the day. So just the pieces that move. And again, if you want to hit pause and see if you can beat me done, go for it. So just the negative exponents are going to move. I like to draw my fraction bar so I know the things are going to stay. So my positive things stay, and my coefficients stay. So the things that are negative moved. So this guy went up to the top, so now I have an e to the 8th up top that's positive. This one came down. I have an a to the 1st that's positive. This one came down, so came down and came down. I have a b to the 2nd that is positive. Now me, a personal preference of mine, is I like to put things in alphabetical order. So all this mumble jumble stuff, I'm going to rewrite it so it's nice and neat now. I want it in alphabetical order. So I have a C comes before E. So I'm going to put the E second. A, that B needs to switch spots for me. So I'm going to have an A to the first. I don't need to have it to the 1, a B to the second, and a D to the third. This is the answer that I would love for you guys to have. Now, if letters matched on top and on bottom, you'd simplify more, but since they don't, we're done with that one. And here's our last problem of the day. Again, this is the one that you should be able to probably do without me now that we've gone over a bunch of examples. So if you're not hitting pause to see if you can beat me done or check your answers, I would strongly encourage you to. All right, so again, I like to have my fraction bar here. I'm going to have my 2, my negative 4. Those things I know can simplify. M stays where it is. N comes down to the bottom as an n to the 1st. P stays where it is. R comes to the top to become positive. T stays where it is. U comes to the top to become positive. Now my very, very, very last step is to simplify the fraction. So this is a 2/4. You guys all know that 2/4 simplifies to become a 1/2. So I'm going to have one last fraction bar here. I have a negative 1/2. I have my m to the 1st, p to the 3rd, r to the 5th, a u to the 2nd, a n to the 1st, and a t are all on the bottom. So this is your official answer. It's a bunch of weird letters and cute stuff like that, but that's what matters here, folks, is that you understand the rules. And that's really all it is. So if you have questions, make sure you're asking for help. If you don't have questions, just keep on trucking. If you need more extra help or just more practice, go to IXL. Check those things out. Khan Academy is another great resource for you as you're trying to figure all this stuff out. All right, folks, this is the Berman Nation. I'm signing off. You have a great day.